Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving in towards the end of the year, towards Christmas, and with it, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a present. So over the next week, I'm going to be bringing you
Intro.
3 of the biggest stories.
You right. I met him.
Victor Reznov.
My friend.
Starting off with Viktor Reznov, he was introduced to us not in Black Ops, but rather Call of Duty World at War in the Battle of Stalingrad. He's introduced to you where there is a giant massacre, but he remains still alive and talks you
Magically
through a
alive.
giant sniper rifle. Later on in Black Ops 1, you are in, as Alex Mason, Vorkuta prison. And alongside Viktor Reznov, you mount and escape, working your way, escaping the prison, breaking through the prison walls, and by the very end, you and Viktor Reznov are escaping on a vehicle. And when you jump off onto the train, Viktor rides off into the sunset, never to be seen again. And from here, it is assumed that Viktor Reznov was killed after this.
Your turn! Come on! Step 8, Reznov! Freedom! For you, Mason! Not for me! Reznov!
And this is where we're like, oh, he's dead.
Reznov.
Right? Well, they're not shooting at him.
He was my friend. But he didn't make it out.
However, throughout the entirety of the Black Ops 1 campaign, Alex Mason would see Viktor Reznov in all essentially his darkest moments. When he was alone, when he felt lost, when he didn't know where to go or what to do, Viktor Reznov was there to hold his hand and direct him in the proper direction where the mission needed to go. However, by the end of the Black Ops 1 campaign, Hudson and Weaver fill us in on a strange bit of information telling us that Viktor Reznov was never really there and that he died in Vorkuta prison.
Viktor Reznov's been dead for 5 years. He died at Vorkuta during the escape. All the years you thought he was with you, that was just in your mind.
So that is case closed and shut. It would just turned out that Reznov was inside Mason's head, just like the numbers, and don't worry, we'll get to the numbers, the entire time. However, when we go forward to Black Ops 2 and we're looking back at the old missions, when playing as Alex Mason, once again in a desperate moment, Alex Mason once again sees Viktor Reznov.
So, in a desert buried, here. Who does
I remember this.
Rides up on a horse to save us?
Trigger.
Yeah, see? You're just like your old man. No, it wasn't him.
So this one's strange because he already knows that Reznov's dead, yet he is seeing him again. But hey, it's a desperate moment. Maybe his mind is just playing tricks on him with the numbers once again. However, what if I told you that Black Ops 1 was actually filled with information telling us that Reznov was not dead, and the story that we were being told in regards to Reznov was far from the truth. So the first big bit of evidence in regards to this is if we actually go in at the very beginning of every single Black Ops mission, there's a little code that they give us that is scrubbed out. But if you take all of these codes and decipher them, it translates to this. Reznov is dead. Or is he dead? There was no body. Is he who he says he is? So
okay, that's what the last video said.
Vorkuta, when we jump onto the train, Reznov drives off into
we don't know if he died or not.
I have a rule on this channel.
He said he died.
Call of Duty, if you don't see a body, the character
not dead.
is probably not dead. This is a great example of it, but it's just the beginning. You see, a lot of you may not have known this because it's kind of off the grid in the main Black Ops campaign, but there's actually a terminal that you can go into and you can see emails from Jason Hudson. And specifically, there is a set of emails from someone by the name of John Trent. And I think you'll be able to piece this together as we go through this. The subject is, everything you know is wrong. And the very first email says, you don't know me, but I know Alex Mason. You will learn to trust me. Everything changes on Friday. By the way, these emails that you can go through are insane. I could probably make a 4-hour-long video just on these emails alone, but we're going to stick with John Trent for this one. The second email from John Trent is titled, Now You Understand. It says, it was by the hand of Nikita Dragovich. This is just the beginning. They are everywhere. Start at Vorkuta. To escape the breakout, you know one of them, the other one just died. So what this refers to is Nikita Dragovich doing the brainwashing sequence that he did on Alex Mason in Vorkuta prison. However, he says that they are everywhere, referring to the sleeper cell spies that Alex Mason now is. He also said that 2 people escaped the breakout, referring to Alex Mason and Viktor Reznov's. However, he says the other one just died. So then it gets even crazier because John Trent sends another email, this time to John F. Kennedy. Subject, you have 1 day left. Body of it
Wait,
says,
wait,
victory
what?
cannot be achieved without sacrifice. Now, this is another sub-story within Black Ops 1 that I'm going to briefly go on a tangent about. If you didn't already know, when Alex Mason was brainwashed, numbers were put into his head. Well, not so much numbers as a way to decode them. You see, during the Cold War and during this period of time in the real world, it was said that a numbers broadcast station was put out there by the Soviet Union in the real world, and these numbers could be decoded by Soviet spies to get orders at a distance. And then in Black Ops 1, Alex Mason was brainwashed not only to understand these numbers, but to take orders without question.
What?
And the rumor is, and the main reason why Alex Mason was brainwashed, was to assassinate JFK.
Nah.
Now, believe it or not, this is not the only unsolved
Okay.
mystery in the Black Ops universe.
I remember all
Another
this.
one of many is whether or not Alex Mason assassinated JFK. And if you want to see that video or any other of these unsolved mysteries, let me know down in the comments. And of course, hit that like button, because the more likes these videos get, the more likely I am to do more Call of Duty mysteries like
12
this
years
one.
ago,
But
maybe?
anyway, you're filled in. Numbers are in Mason's
Maybe
head.
even
He's
longer
brainwashed
than-
to assassinate JFK, and John Trent is sending an email to Kennedy to kind of warn him. Now, here's the weird part about the body of that paragraph. This is word for word what Viktor Reznov says to Alex Mason before the escape in Vorkuta prison.
Victory cannot be achieved without sacrifice, Mason.
Now, in the next email to Jason Hudson, once again sent by John Trent, it's called a single step. This one is followed by a number sequence, but it says, her name is Evelyn Cross. The photo is for your eyes only. This will be my last letter for quite some time. When the time comes, you will know what to do. Now, Evelyn Cross refers to the person reading the number sequence that we hear throughout the game. The person talking over the radio is indeed Evelyn Cross. But oh, it does not end there, because in the final email from John Trent to Jason Hudson, it says, subject, you have done well. Please tell Mason one last thing. This time, it's freedom for both of us. Both of them referring to, of course, Alex Mason being freed from Vorkuta, and now John Trent, aka Viktor Reznov, being freed as well. Because keep in mind, at the end of the Vorkuta mission,
He said only just for you.
Mason tells
Freedom only for
Reznov
you.
it's time for freedom, this is what Reznov has to say.
Step out, Reznov! Freedom! For you, Mason! Not for me! Reznov!
So that is all for Black Ops 1, but there's a lot more information that you need to know. Now, there is some information within zombies that I'm going to leave out of this. The main reason being, I don't know whether it's canon in the main story or not. They make that part very confusing, but I do believe that there's enough evidence in the other games to give us a direct conclusion what to think about Viktor Reznov. The first comes from the game Black Ops 4. In that game, we are introduced to not a campaign, but several audio files that give us a little bit about the story. And this one specifically refers to Frank Woods, Alex Mason, and of course, Viktor Reznov.
Yeah, I brought him back. Using your fucking numbers.
My numbers. No longer.
Alright, he's in here. You ready?
Duh.
Mason!
Yeah, this better be goddamn good, because you woke me up.
Mason! You look like hammered shit.
It's all in your mind, Woods. Reznov. Oh.
Fuck! No! Mason! Mason, stop!
What
Stop!
the?
He's real! He's right here! He made it out of Vorkuta. I want you to look at him. Mason, look at him!
It is me, comrade.
Reznov. Frank, what the fuck?
Yeah, hell.
What?
He was the first.
The first one.
The first archetype.
Now, I need to be clear. In Black
With
Ops
the numbers,
4,
right?
there is this new thing called archetypes.
Oh, wait,
where
no,
essentially They can reanimate old
Yeah.
dead people, kind of like Jurassic Park, but with humans.
Wait.
And
I
in
was
this,
like,
that is
what?
what these
No.
characters are. At this point, Alex Mason, Frank Woods, and Victor Reznov are already dead, but the interesting part about that recording is that they specifically state that Reznov never died at Vorkuta. But again, this doesn't prove anything. And the one last thing
What do you
comes
mean?
from Black Ops 2. I briefly mentioned it before, but when Alex Mason and Frank Woods were stranded in the desert, it was stated by Alex Mason that the person on horseback to come and save them was none other than Victor Reznov. Frank Woods questions it because he says, why wouldn't Reznov stick around to answer some questions? However, one last question is left unturned. If Victor Reznov didn't come and save them, who did? And keep in mind, it's not Alex Mason telling the story, it's Frank Woods. So deep down, somewhere, he must believe it as well. So the reason why this is an unsolved mystery is we do not have 100% evidence that Victor Reznov survived Vorkuta. However, all of the evidence, the emails from John Trent, the decoding of the Black Ops missions, him being seen in Black Ops 2, and once again the audio recording from Black Ops 4, all lead us to believe that indeed Victor Reznov made it out alive and had his freedom living as John Trent. So that is it. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
That was
But
cool.
Keep in mind, this isn't the only mystery from the Black Ops universe. And if you
I
would
need
like
to
see
play more.
videos like
I need to
this one,
play.
be sure to hit
That's
that
the
like
next show
button
we're
because
playing.
things left unturned.
Black Ops
include,
1.
Did Alex Mason really assassinate JFK? What